Hello, and welcome to my short rant about why I don't trust Adam Curtis. Too many ballroom dancing scenes. LOL, but really, he never mentions patriarchy or the movements in the United States that weren't all individualistic, namely radical feminists, who he obliterates from his narratives. He focuses on the arts, which have always been absurd after the First World War, because think about what that would have done to the psyche. Just read The Wasteland, for fuck's sake. Art is a reaction to the society at large. It could no longer make sense after such horrors perpetrated by bankers and state interests. Just as Adam Curtis's art is a reaction to the shock-collar society he helps to perpetuate. He never calls out postmodern thought and its destructive nature or denial of objectivity. He willingly works for the state to produce shock-collar material about a shock-collar society he helps continue with his own material. He stokes hatred for America and Americans and relies on the everyone is complicit narrative. I have heard this before from a teacher at Temple University. This is simply a lie they tell you to get you to feel bad for the unavoidable participation in the machinations of a system that they help produce and perpetuate. Coming out of this shock-collar society also makes you a masochist, makes you hate yourself. When people from the UK try to talk about the JFK assassination, I have to roll my eyes. At the end of part 1 of his new series, he makes fun of all the JFK theories. Think about what that did to the American psyche. A nation is nothing more than a geographical location and the people in it. If the people ingest media that is from the shock-collar society, they are made to feel sick, sad, and scared. I'm sure the assassination of a U.S. president was much like when I was in high school and Columbine was reported. These are what I call events, or I shall call events, embedded into the American psyche by state-controlled media. More on this at some other point. His latest work was implying that a fictional story created a reality that played itself out. I also heard about this idea at Temple University from the same professor. It was a poetry professor because that was my previous passion in life. Once I saw what postmodernism did to poetry, I shed a tear. It was no longer about truth. It was about printing an entire copy of the New York Times out in book form, ads and all. Nothing more, nothing less than a copy of some real truth. Truth had been obliterated for a more convenient explanation. Nothing is true, and everything is created by human thought alone. He never mentions the occult and its ties to intelligence, art, or the military. His narratives are helpful, but at the same time very misleading. People get hypnotized by his brilliant filmmaking. He talks about topics that will give you whiplash, while he implants some very important material as you try to follow his strange and conspiracy-like narratives. He says he's trying to understand what is wrong with our society on a deep level, but never mentions very core historical reasons for why our society is the way it is now.